Before after I ended the last stream, I went on and I bought like, I think I only had enough hope fragments for like one more skill. And then I noticed there was another one that was really good, where like you get more bullets during the other one. And I was like, missed a damn opportunity there.
Damn right.
But I'm still gonna do this. I'm probably gonna fail super miserably at like the logic dive like I did the last one. If anyone who's here has witnessed that tragedy. But okay, let's go. Looks like everyone's here. Huh? Is this it? Shouldn't there be more people?
Damn it.
Stop it. You're making me depressed. Yeah, okay. So, it is going to happen again. See, right now my biggest suspect is Sonia. She doesn't have an alibi, and she was hanging around the military base before. So she's my #1 suspect. And you know, my suspects are never wrong. So, unless something happened, or I just simply forgot something, she's my #1. But once we're through this, we can go back, right? That Monokuma bastard said so, didn't he? He said this is the last class trial.
Damn it.
We've been tricked every step of the way. There's no way I can believe that so easily.
Of course not.
Why can't you believe it? The guys who's making us do all this is the one saying it, you know?
You know, right?
That's why I'll definitely survive. We can really go home after we deal with this class trial. I'll definitely find out who the killer is, no matter what, even if I have to pull out all the stops. Monami's been acting kind of weird too.
You...
What the fuck? Where are you here?
You haven't realized it yet?
Oh, that was a bad one.
That feeling of wanting to leave the island, thinking that it's Monokuma's trap, you know?
Huh?
I probably just read that wrong. Huh? What are you saying?
Got it? There's no way Monokuma will end things here. He's planning something far worse.
Stop trying to jinx us.
I'll beat you up.
Damn right. Stupid rabbit should just shut up. Akane.
Everyone, you mustn't run away from despair.
Huh?
I have finally realized, after losing my powers, I've realized that cursing your powerlessness or your fate accomplishes nothing. The possibility may be small, but as long as there's a possibility, you must face it. In order to become someone who can be proud of yourself. So I will fight.
Huh?
What's her deal?
I do not really know, but it seems she's different from before.
Maybe she read a self-help book.
Wait.
But her eyes look so determined.
You...
You can tell just by looking at those button eyes. Anyway, make sure not to turn off your Minimaru. Oh right, I forgot the little robot. That's what he called it. It'd be annoying if he started talking during the trial. Ah, fine.
But still.
Somehow, I understand what Monami is saying, I think.
Anyway, let's get going to the last class trial.
Yep.
You're right. We need to fight as much as we can, no matter what hopeless truth awaits us in the end.
And none of these guys are smart enough like Nagito was. The closest person that's smart is Chiaki. Everyone else is not smart. As smart. This is the end. I keep saying those words to myself over and over within my head. I entered Monokuma Rock. I mean, if you played the first game, you know that this isn't the end.
Yeah.
This elevator ride. This will be the last time for this, too, right? I hope so.
Well,
Let's worry about things after we're finished.
you are right.
More importantly, we must focus on the class trial before us.
Okay.
Damn it.
The killer managed to kill someone like Nagito. There's no way this is going to go smoothly. I mean, I still can't believe one of us was able to do that.
Nagito was problematic in many ways, but he was also a valuable asset during trials.
True. Better than you. Yeah, you're right. In fact, during the Funhouse ordeal, we were completely dependent on him. But even if he's gone, the ones who survive need to stand and fight. Like I said before, I gotta be honest, the people that are left are the ones that contributed like the least, besides Chiaki, not counting Hajime, since he's a protagonist. We must fight. And then the door slowly opened, the bright light greeting us. Is that the light of hope or the light of despair? Ooh. Hey, that looks like the factory on the 5th island. Oh yeah.
Well then, now that chatterbox Nagito is gone, there's only 6 of you left.
Hey there. Hey now. Nagito was the only good one left.
Shut the hell up!
Yeah, you tell him, Fuyuhiko. Enough. Just fucking start this already.
Hey!
Hey, this is it, right? This is really the last class trial, right?
Yep.
Yep, it sure is. So, you gotta show some enthusiasm and make sure you give it your all.
Alright!
Didn't I tell ya? You said it. This is good. This is the end.
Now then, let's get this trial started. This is the last class trial. Let's show some enthusiasm and kill each other.
Uh-huh. Whatever helps you sleep at night. This is the 5th class trial. According to Monokuma, this is also the last class trial, which is not true. The curtain is about to rise. Dad, don't show me that again! God. Nagito Komaeda, the ultimate lucky student. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He came across as very sociable. But his true nature had such a demented thought process that was nothing like his outward appearance. He said he believed in hope more than anything else. He said he was yearning for a powerful hope he can overcome any despair. He said he would even help despair just to prove that hope would never lose to despair. And he said he'd become a stepping stone for hope. His way of thinking was completely screwed up. But there were also times he saved us, too. Someone like him was killed. That was the end of him. Damn. And I have no idea at all who did it, but there's no way I can let this end without knowing. We will be consumed by despair. That's why we absolutely have to find out. The person who finished off Nagito. The person who murdered Nagito. In order to return from the despair alive, we need to reach the truth. And if Monokuma says this is really the last class trial, it's all the more reason we need to do this. And so, this life-threatening trial bellowing with hope and despair, the last one, has begun. I tried to start early, but I was unsuccessful. Set skills. Yeah, this is the one I got before. Slightly increase the focus gauge. Equipped that. All these other ones are equipped. I don't think I only bought one. I gotta refresh my memory. I barely remember anything. Okay. The victim is Nagito Komaeda. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. Both of Nagito's legs were tied with rope, and each rope was tied to nearby pillars, which prevented him from moving. His thighs were also covered with a lot of stab wounds. The rope that was tied to Nagito's right arm burned off. However, Nagito's right sleeve looked clean. A survival knife that was stabbed into Nagito's right hand. The knife is from the military base. It's safe to assume that the wounds on Nagito's left legs and left arm were caused by this knife. Blood was splattered on the palm of Nagito's left hand. For some reason, the splatter cuts off in the middle of his palm. Also, the back of his left hand has an unnatural blood stain that's only above the middle joints of his fingers. Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape. However, the blood that splattered onto his face wasn't under the duct tape. The tape itself had a lot of crinkles in it, as if Nagito was desperately moving his mouth underneath. The spear impaled through Nagito's stomach. A cord with an iron weight at the end of it extends from the back of the handle. For some reason, only the section where the cord and weight touch is bloody. A life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. It has a huge bloody hole in its stomach, and as if it was stabbed. A faint red line was on the ceiling grinder inside the goods warehouse. A lot of tipped-over Monokuma panels were scattered around the goods warehouse. In one area, the panels seemed to be laying on top of each other in a straight, orderly line. Found at the fire's origin point, it looks like it was caused by It looks like this is what caused the fire. An MP3 player that comes with speakers. The music that was blaring throughout the warehouse when Hajime and the others arrived was coming from this. Sonia secretly used one of the bombs from the military base at the ancient ruins and found out that the bombs were fake. At the time, Monami was apparently peeking at the whole thing. Monokuma knew all along that the bombs were fake. However, he apparently never revealed that fact to anyone. The diary that Monami updated every day, or did she? According to Monokuma, Monami can't write. These are hidden at Nagito's cottage and under his bed. Found at Nagito's cottage under his bed is a round thin piece of aluminum paper. Poison found inside the refrigerator at Nagito's cottage. The warning label on the back of the bottle states, "This enchanted liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care. Though its volatility is slow, this liquid is very dangerous when vaporized. In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air. It breaks down in minutes, and it is susceptible to hydrolysis. So it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications. Keep this liquid secure by storing it in a cool place in a glass or plastic container away from sunlight." This file contains the Hope Academy student profiles for all 16 students participating in the school trip. Due to the fact Monokuma forged the traitor's profile, looking at this won't help identify who the traitor is. Okay. Difficulty is the same as always. At the bottom. The trickster Nagito was brutally murdered. That's an understatement. His unpredictable behavior was left a looming shadow of mystery in the hearts of Hajime and the others. Who is the traitor? What was the clue Nagito left? Will they be able to see the light within the darkness between hope and despair? Hopefully.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Hey, Monami isn't being hanged up this time.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit?
What is up with Monami?
Chesto!
Whoa.
One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow!
What is up with Monami?
Please stop. I feel bad for Monomi.
Me
You're
too.
right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who is attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
Sonia.
He was killed for trying to reveal the traitor. That traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Imagine.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
Oh, same person, or I should take it off auto. Okay, before that. Come on. Before that.
Killer. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him?
The killer.
Probably the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
You're a Yakuza. Don't Yakuzas torture people? For information and stuff?
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body
Why
was
did they
covered
cover
with
his
wounds.
mouth if they were torturing him for
The
information?
killer tortured Nagito.
Nice.
No, that's wrong.
I kind of had to think a little more with that one. More into detail.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything. If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared.
Oh my god.
I just realized.
Kazuchi's being a goddamn pain in the ass.
A trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
stupid. Hey Jonathan, how's it going out?
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated. I can't back down!
Ooh, I'm usually really bad at that.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Exactly.
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his mouth shut. Whew, that was close, you guys.
It still has to be the duct tape.
Didn't get caught in the trap. Pay attention, this is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
There we go.
cut through those
I was just
doors.
picking the wrong ones.
No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
What did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? You might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
Shut up, Akane.
We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Are you in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds,
So he couldn't have gotten any blood on his mouth.
which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here hated Nagito, so...
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer? If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
Hmm? The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
Duh.
We can't think of any other reason.
It's not like he was trying to set his body on fire.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
No. You weren't there.
And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Which means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first. Wasn't there something about burn marks in a rope?
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter. Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way? Maybe they used invisible thread.
No? Okay, okay.
The direct cause of the oil lighter found
The killer used something lit the curtain on fire.
some kind of setup.
Did they use the oil?
They probably just based on the shape of it can stand upright.
If they tipped over, it could have ignited.
Some way?
Okay, gotta slow
Maybe they
down
used
here.
invisible thread.
No.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door.
There we go.
Agree with that.
Let's go.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious.
It's not wind pressure, Sonia.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
Now, wouldn't it have happened already once the door was opened?
There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The MP3 player. Must be the MP3 player.
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
It's pronounced him. I've always pronounced it as Heim. The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud, I guess it's hymnal, blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Is Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm talking about I'm not talking about the music. It's as if on cue, it suddenly started. The fire.
So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
What else was it? It's fine. I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, it'll be fine. Those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Clatter, clatter, clatter. So it was locked for the first time? There's something blocking the door? I can barely open it. That must have been the panels. I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Akane ignored their protests, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter. Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
That door was the only entrance to the warehouse. I see. So the problem Chiaki's talking about is... Shoot, I don't know. Couldn't take the merch. We couldn't see inside. The killer couldn't have left. I'm an idiot. Killer couldn't have left.
I see.
Why do I suck so
The panel
much
was
today?
so close to the door that it could barely be opened. The killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used. You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Nagito, since he was the only one in the warehouse. Huh?
You don't mean...
If that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done that. Don't tell me what I think of. Nagito, you f***ing idiot!
This is my answer.
Idiot!
What if it was Nagito?
Nagito ended himself.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
He was also the culprit.
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid.
It doesn't fit the trope from the first game.
Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
I mean, Nagito was a maniac, so I wouldn't really
But
doubt it.
Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah,
True.
you're right.
But
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
okay, so I guess Sonia isn't the culprit. Like he said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Like what? The burnt rope?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
True.
Couldn't do much with the free arm.
I mean, you can do a lot of stuff one-handed.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
If our assumption that Nagito ended himself is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right?
To actually tie
So
up
I
your own
knew it
arms
had something to do with the burnt rope.
That's obviously
Oh my god, I hate this white
Tying
noise.
just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would...
you couldn't do much with. It'd be impossible.
How about if you use your...
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
To actually tie up your own arms. No, that's wrong.
Okay. I knew it had something to do with burned rope. But I just didn't know what to shoot it at. Because if I shot it at the first one, it didn't really make much sense. How could the burned rope be connected to him tying up his left arm?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
Yeah, that's why I didn't find it as a contradiction, because it's true.
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
Proof that burnt rope in the right arm is actually a trap. The knife?
Crap!
No? Oh wait! Duh! His right sleeve!
Take a close look at his right sleeve.
I forgot.
Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Don't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm was...
God damn it, Nagito.
He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand.
Ah, that much is obvious. Hajime, you tricked me. Give me back that Benjamin.
It had to be 100% fact that he stabbed himself with his left hand. Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants to give the money back. What the heck?
There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000%.
I don't care. Leave your lewd jokes to yourself. A way to stab yourself with your right hand using only your right hand. It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this. Okay, let's just read what they have to say first.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free,
Yeah.
how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow and slammed his right hand down on it?
There's something on that.
If he just propped the knife,
What on
he
the...
could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
Okay. There's a bunch of things I can agree with. If Nagito could only use his right hand to stab himself in the palm, then how did he do it?
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand?
You know, maybe you're right, and maybe the plushie does have something to do with it. Might as well try. A life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. There's a huge body fold in its stomach. It was stabbed.
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, Could he stab his hand that way?
Okay, what it's saying here is that I have
Is
to
he a
do.
bone knife expert?
I do have to do Monokuma plushie?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
I agree with that.
That is weird.
A life-size Monokuma plushie.
But you were right about the Monokuma plushie. I didn't think it was it because of the stab wound.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
Oh.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
Wait, but why is the plushie all the way over there?
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something. A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Yeah.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito.
Yeah.
If that's true, how is that possible?
Well, that little wire thing, if you remember going back to the castle, that wire is connected to the spear. So it could have been possible that he was looking at the clue from his hand being clean. He could have held the wire, tied it up to the top, and once everything was done, just let go of the wire.
He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time.
Oh my god.
For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out!
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear.
Not to mention how heavy it is, and now you have one arm tied.
It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stab into your right hand, while your left hand is tied up.
Exactly.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else. I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right?
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monami, what are you doing?
Monami sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
And are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
Not if you take my theory into account.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now. Everyone working together.
She's right. We've made it through several ordeals up until now by doing that. Then, even
Alright,
now,
let's do this.
okay, it either has to do with his clean hand or the rope thing.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through. When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth? Or maybe he used his front tail?
And off with the front tail.
What are you saying?
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
Nagito ended himself, and he must have used that spear to stab himself. Even if his arms and legs were tied up, there's no doubt he used some part of his body. The only thing he could have used it again for.
How did Nagito's... Let's work together. When the spear stabbed his right hand was...
He was only able to, but his left hand was off.
And that rules out his left hand.
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
Finally, I was secure of one.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered. That's as far as it reached, right? That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain.
Yeah, because if you look at this, like he could have held it like this. His regular hand could have held it like this. Like that. See, not only does it cover your palm, but it covers the other side that was also clean of blood.
Look, there's blood on the back of his hand. Around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, looks like an unnatural bloodstain. What's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
What was Nagito's left hand doing when the left hand... He was gripping.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Oh my god, will you stop with that?
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear! Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right, that's the problem.
Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, You should always strike from a good angle, just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear. I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
Exactly. He was holding onto the wire. The cord.
I see. That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding onto the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
No.
That's where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki?
Yes. And I know what it is.
I am sorry.
For once.
Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time? At a time like this. How about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
What?
That's a long plan name.
Yeah.
One step at a time? What does that mean? Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
How it was positioned.
Nagito was facing up, and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So, if this was just before that... That's it. Could it be? The state of the spear, and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment. If I put those together and think about it, I should be able to figure it out. Where the spear was, and what state it was before it stabbed Nagito. Please, to God, tell me it's not a logic dive. Alright, I gotta remember the controls. Okay. And then, was it control? Oh yeah, I forgot it did that. Where was the spear just impaled before me? Where was the spear just before it was above Nagito? Ooh. If you would see the hand on the keyboard right now, you would not believe how the hell I'm doing this right now. No. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? This one. Oh. Baited. What item connects both the spear and the ceiling? Look on Nagito's left hand. The spear's cord. Hell yeah! Oh my god, thank you! It was not a pain in the ass like last time.
It's all coming together. The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP? That'd be awesome, but he'd probably use the ceiling
That'd be
girder
awesome.
directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder. And used it as a
Girder.
support.
Girder, that's how you pronounce it.
He hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
Yeah.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
He really committed suicide? Like that?
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then, this is for real? He really committed suicide?
Yeah.
Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
He was a goddamn maniac, I'm telling you.
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping the spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end. Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
He
Pretty sure.
probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy. Why would he do that to himself?
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
I mean, nobody was coming out to be the traitor. He blackmailed everyone and tricked them into thinking there were like a bunch of bombs that would blow up the entire island if the traitor didn't come forward. So since they didn't do that, instead of blowing up the island, he ended himself. And tried to make it a way so everyone would die. Makes sense if I was looking through his perspective. That's why you gotta love him.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Exactly, Hajime. That's our Nagito. Jeez, and I was starting to feel a little sympathetic towards him. How stupid of me. Completely underestimate his capacity for malice. He was a genius also. He was smarter than everyone else. If it wasn't for him, we never would have discovered the killer of the fourth trial. So, I wouldn't be, hating on him too much. A mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he died. That's the form of his malice took. I had forgotten all about it until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He's said he would reveal the traitor, right? Whatever became of that?
Probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
No, he had to do that, or else the traitor wouldn't have come forward.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other. He tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
Yeah, true.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so he'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense.
Like what?
It's probably just my imagination.
Everything we covered until now is what I thought. Why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. Is she talking about trying to figure out who the traitor is? You know, finish what he started? I don't think it's a mistake to assume that Nagito ended himself, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? Is it because we don't know who the traitor is, or...
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
I don't think Monokuma wants us to figure out who the traitor is yet.
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
You're right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here, huh?
Mm-mm.
That
We
means
haven't
just
figured out who the
last
traitor is yet.
while and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer? Understood. Then voting time.
No.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
I mean, like, everything we've come up to is figuring out that Nagito ended himself. I feel like the only thing that we need is to find out who the traitor is. Because there's no signs of him getting murdered. So even in the end, if we don't figure out who the traitor is, just to end it, we can just say it was Nagito and be done with it.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
Yeah.
That's true, but
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death.
Like what?
Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death, and it's something that he couldn't have messed with. He manipulated everything. There's nothing he could have messed. He could have messed with.
You were gonna keep going? Here I thought we were finally finished.
Something related to Nagito's death, a piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. Something that he couldn't even mess with. I mean, this is the only thing that...
I see.
Really? That was a guess.
Is it about the Monokuma file?
What's in the
Yeah,
file?
that's it.
All it does is explain what happened. Well, not what happened, but
Huh? There was something suspicious in
the
the Monokuma file?
state. Could it be the time? What time he died? Because it's not like he had an alarm clock in there. The victim is Nagito Komaeda, the body discovered in the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. Estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there's a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. It has to do with his time of death, doesn't it? What is it? Something that Nagito couldn't control. He could have controlled his time of death, in a way. Could it be the cause of death? Because he stabbed himself in a bunch of different places. Like, if you stabbed yourself and hit a certain vein, either in an arm or in a leg, there's a possibility you can puncture a vein and bleed out. So maybe that's it? Oh. I need a mouse for this one. What's suspicious about the Monokuma file? My answer's gonna say cause... If it's cause of death, then I'm the best. See? Oh, it was an S. What did it be? Damn it. Jeez, that was difficult considering how fast everything was moving.
In this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Yeah, it just says that he was stabbed a bunch of times. It just said he was stabbed a bunch of times, so there was no real cause of death. Who knows? Maybe he could have bled out and be stabbed by the spear. But it doesn't necessarily say that the spear killed him. Furthermore, yeah, it explains everything.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death. But the cause of death is obvious, is it not? The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was a cause of death.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma, I plead the fifth!
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he turned
Don't remind me of
from the
Mikan's
Monokuma
case.
power was always the most important mystery in the case. Are you saying that applies this time too?
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide. Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
I mean, it makes sense if, like, I'm pretty sure nobody would come out as the traitor once he died. So killing everybody, that would also mean killing the traitor, doesn't it? Because it's impossible for it to be a murder. Right?
Are you sticking up for him?
No, I'm trying to find the truth, Kane.
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here? Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
I know.
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh? Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
What friendship?
Come on, we were buddies in the beginning.
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote?
Well, as long as there's suspicion, and like Hajime said, it is Nagito, it wouldn't have been this easy. He must have had another motive in mind, something that we just didn't see. So I don't think we should vote yet.
I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
You were right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if
You're
you guys say
friggin'
you're doing
annoying.
it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma, you heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait.
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Oh, splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
All your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? Now that I think about it, Nagito said the same thing. The absolute hope that can overcome any despair. He said he was yearning for that. Then the situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along. Hope! He wanted hope in the end. Hope to overcome despair. No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking.